Heyo, welcome. This is a late game. This is just before Honor and Profit came out, so no Honor and Profit here. Just a quick game. I wanted to try playing The World Is Yours, NBN. So I'm on the right. You can see my new playmat. It ended up before I graduated and moved to a new city. I was able to win a playmat from the Casual Weekly Play, and so was Matthew. This is in between weeks, and in the next week he wins a playmat as well. I'm trying a new technique with the recording, a little bit different angle. Hopefully it's visible. So working with that. Matthew's playing a variation of his typical Shaper deck. I threw this deck together. I wanted to try a new card that had come out just before, so you'll see that in a bit. I'm not a terrible fan of NBN, and partially it's because Matthew plays NBN most of the time. But he's quite a skilled player, and when he doesn't play NBN, he's really scary. His HP deck is terrifying. His Wayland deck is terrifying. It's all there. As I mentioned, I've moved to a new city. Unfortunately, no longer with the play group that I was with previously. Hopefully I can get a local group up and started in the Columbia, South Carolina area. I've got Hopeful Shop. I think they play frequently. So, looking at my hand, I held it up so you could see. Project Veal in hand, Quandary in hand. I'm still messing around in the background. I like NBN, but I don't really have the chops for counting the credits in between turns like some NBN players are able to do. They can calculate the exact number of credits that they can spend on traces and still score agendas and not go completely broke and that sort of thing. That's not a lot of fun for me. I tend to just wing it all the time. I think precisely counting your credits and setting your trace to kind of odd numbers gives away a bit of information to the runner. Plus, I'm really lazy. So here we go. I've got an APD, really powerful, maybe the most powerful 4-2 agenda. I've got a Quandary, so I'm fine with that. I top deck a hedge fund, and I've got a pop-up window and a Quandary, and a Chimera. So those are 3 ice that I want. 2 for centrals, 1 for remote. He won't be able to get into that remote for a couple of turns, especially if he's running Shaper. The bane of my existence, self-modifying code, could make that a little bit more of a challenge, but maybe I can outpace him for money if I name it as CodeGate. Still, and it's not a whole lot of credits. It's like, let's see, 4 for install, and 2 to pull, and then 1 to break. So anytime he has 7 credits in a self-modifying code, too bad. So he runs R&D, he runs HQ. It's a pop-up window and a Quandary. So I'm netting even on that exchange. 1 from pop-up window and 1 from Quandary. He doesn't see anything. Installs that self-modifying code. Ugh, I guess I can't run Chimera now. Sucks. Draw a Caduceus. I could put a Caduceus in front of the Chimera, and then he wouldn't be able to do anything. But I don't go for it. I install I believe the Caduceus in front of R&D. I draw a Making News, and I install, I believe, the Chimera in our remote. Part of what makes the world is yours, maybe not fun to play, is that either it works really, really well, and you're able to score agenda after agenda way before the runner can react, and sometimes it doesn't work. You don't get any agendas, or you get R&D digs going and you can't afford to keep them out of R&D, or you just can't get the tools you need. Even with a really small deck and consistent card draw, it can be hard to get the cards that you really want. So Matthew waits a turn, and then he's self-modifying codes to the Magnum Opus. That's to save 1 credit on the install. And I believe he then clicks Magnum Opus for credits. Nope, he draws. I top deck another Quandary. That's good news for me. It means I can keep him out of a remote if I need to. Quandary really fits this archetype of Corp deck really well. It's super cheap, and it's hard to counter. So I install and install. I believe I spent a credit doing that. He infiltrates, and it's the Beal. I'm not sure that's the right move. A trap would be a weird play in this deck, I think. Maybe he should have checked the ice. I'm not really sure. So he runs it. The first is a Quandary. So for 1 credit, he has to pay 7 to get through a code gate. And I believe he's short on credits. I think he's at 5. So he bounces. I top deck an Astroscript. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I score the Beal, going down to 4 credits. I've got an Astroscript in hand. That is really setting up for NBN Fast Advance. He installs a Fairy. So he's got 2 breakers now. He runs R&D. It's a Caduceus, I believe. And I'm trying to decide whether it's worth 3 credits. I end up deciding it is because I want him to think about spending the Fairy on it. I don't have any other sentries installed, but the Chimera could fall to it. So I believe he pays his way through the Trace. Yep. Oh, and he top decks the Beal. There it is. So that's how NBN can go. You just completely fall apart in the middle of a good run. But I got my Astroscript right below. That was the Beal, so I've got the Astro. And so I draw a Corporate Shuffle. That's the card you see there. Red shirts being replaced by blue shirts. Woohoo! This card's my replacement for Jackson Howard. I actually think I prefer it in this type of deck. Except maybe against a Noise Mill. And the reason why is because Jackson Howard overdraws and then discards. You end up thinning your agenda density. Or you thin your non-agendas in R&D. And you end up getting a lot of losses to R&D runs. I think it's a good substitution. Plus, you get to draw 5 new cards. As the game goes on and agendas are scored or they're stolen, your density goes lower. And when you shuffle in non-agenda cards, you end up in a really good space where you end up having about a 1 in 5 chance of drawing an agenda. Or thereabouts. And that's the exact number of agendas you want to have in HQ. You want to have 1 that you can score, and you want to have the other 4 cards in your hand be non-stealable agendas, so that you can really not have to defend HQ too tightly. So he runs the remote, Quandary, and then a Chimera. I set the Chimera to, say, Sentry, so that he can't get in. I'm down to 2 credits. And I spend the turn gaining 3 credits. Don't have the 3 credits I need to advance and score whatever's in there. And if he spends a couple of credits to make me res Chimera, he might be able to slow me down. I think running again and forcing me to res it again might have been the correct move here. But he's down to 0 credits. Slowing me down so that I can't score might have been a good move. Being at 5 means I can't really make money if I end up spending 2 every turn. I will never be in a good position to score. So you can see I have a Making News corporate shuffle, and I believe I still have an APD in hand, and perhaps a pop-up window. By the way, I want to apologize for the lateness of this video. It's been a while since I've been able to play, ending my semester of school, getting ready to graduate and enter the real world. Anyway, so, and by the way, I posted an announcement. I'm really not sure how YouTube announcements work, but this channel is partnering with a Steam TG group that has regular hangouts on a couple times a week, and hopefully we'll be getting some video of that playthrough uploaded through a partner to the channel. So I score the Astra script, gain a token, go down to 2 credits. That's really bad news for the NBN game. Matthew installs Mimic. He's got 2 of his breakers out and a Magnum Opus. He's using up